Good to see you, Broncos country. Moose here from the Broncos Breakdown by Chat Sports. And I decided to come in on one of my off days to bring you the latest surrounding Denver Broncos training camp. So what I decided to do for today's episode was kind of take all of the headlines, pick the three biggest ones that I felt you needed to know about Broncos training camp week 1 and combine it into one official video. Now, before we start, can you believe we are 4 days away from an NFL football game? I swear to God. Now, granted, it's the Chargers and the Lions that play in the Hall of Fame games, so you're probably not going to see any major starters playing, but we actually have an NFL football game being played this coming week. And if you are ready and excited, do me a favor, hit that thumbs up button. It helps grow the channel and shows me that you are a real NFL Broncos football fan. Let's start off with the news that didn't quite make the three major headlines, but it is something that we should at least talk about. Drew Sanders injured again. The severity of the injury yet to be determined, at least at the time of this recording. I want to put that out there. But he did get carted off the field late on Saturday's practice. This from Zach Stevens, who is out there taking it all in, all the sights and sounds from Broncos training camp. And he asked Sean Payton point blank, did this rupture his Achilles or did he re-hurt his Achilles? And Sean Payton said no. But it was then later reported that he could not put any weight on his leg. So we're awaiting an MRI result to kind of give us any further instruction on this injury or kind of an update as to how much time he's going to miss. The good news is it's not an Achilles. The bad news is that Drew Sanders is injured once again, which kind of seems to be the MO of his beginning of his NFL career, which is unfortunate to say. I take no pleasure in saying this, but, you got to call a duck if it walks like a duck and it talks like a duck, right? He's an injury-prone player. And the one thing that I would ask the Broncos to do, at least right now, at least wrap him up in some bubble wrap, please. For the love of God. Keep the guy off the field because the injuries just keep stacking up. And at some point, you have to ask yourself the question, is it time to consider that you might have to move on from Drew Sanders? I don't think that that's an idiotic or crazy thing to start asking yourself. Now, does that mean that right now you have to start, planning for his departure from the Broncos? No, you don't have to do that right this second, but I'm sure George Paton, Sean Payton, and the rest of the Broncos head honchos are looking at this going, they're starting to pile up. We've got to start considering that this might not be a long-term future in Mile High. So that is at least the news right now surrounding Drew Sanders. On to some more positive news. The secondary is really starting to shine, especially yesterday. Throughout the entirety of the weekend, the Broncos started incorporating third down offenses and then red zone offenses and defenses where I felt the secondary started to really emerge and show its strengths. We knew the pass rush was going to be good, and we're going to touch on some offensive strengths here in a little bit, but it should be noted that Chris Abrams-Draine was one of those standout players. Same with Riley Moss, who's had a really good training camp. But one of the plays from training camp that you at least need to know is Chris Abrams-Draine had a saving pass breakup in the end zone. Bo Nix put an unbelievable fade ball up to Pat Bryant. Hit him right in the hands, and it looked like a touchdown. Cad came in, swatted it right before it would have been a touchdown, and it looked really, really cool according to all of the eyewitnesses out at Mile High. So I'm glad to see that the Broncos cornerbacks are at least playing really well as well. But Brandon Jones, a nice little addition last year for the Broncos safety room, said, I have not been a part of a team with this much depth before. It's kind of scary. So this is clearly talking about the entirety of the Broncos secondary, not just the corners or the safeties. But with the addition of Talanoa Hufanga, Brandon Jones coming off the best statistical season of his entire career, the progression of Riley Moss and Jaquan McMillan, Pat Surtain, the reigning defensive player of the year, and of course, wouldn't be a complete cornerback room or safety room or defensive back room without Jahdae Barron, right? Your first-round pick in 2025, who is proving to be as good as advertised. Now, not much from the sense of playmaking. There wasn't a lot of reported playmaking ability from him. during training camp, but from all of the accounts of other veteran players, he is really shaping up and proving that he was worth the pick at round 1, pick 20. Here's what Brandon Jones went on to say about Jahdae Barron. It's hard to realize he's a rookie just because of his mindset and how smart and intelligent he is. He flies around, and he's always, asking a lot of really great questions. He's always around the ball, which we've talked about the versatility. We've talked about the IQ. We've talked about the EQ. We've talked a lot about Jahdae Barron here on this channel. But the one thing that I feel like hasn't been stated enough, at least by me, is this guy loves football. You can clearly see he has set the bar and the standard for himself really, really high year one. And Sean Payton was asked about where he's going to start. He's going to start at the nickel corner, starting on the inside, but they easily and clearly want to get him reps on the outside corner. So I'm going to ask you, should Jahdae start at outside over Riley Moss, or should he start inside in place of Jaquan McMillan? You let me know. Type O for outside or type I for inside. Right now, I'm going to type my I because I think that's his most natural position, and I think that's where he can provide the most value, at least week one. But honestly, if Riley Moss starts to struggle a little bit, or you see some really, really impressive stuff from Jahdae on the outside, you could easily see week 2, 3, 4 him slide to that CB2 outside corner position. Before we continue on with our other 2 major takeaways for the weekend, make sure, guys, that you are buying this awesome Broncos jersey. It is backed by popular demand. We saw a couple of these really cool ones, and I get it, it's summer and blackout, probably not your favorite combination, but when we see the sales come rolling in, we got to pivot back to what's already doing well and making money. And this is definitely the one. $49.99. It is completely customizable for you. It contorts really well to the body. This is one that I'm actually going to be buying myself here pretty soon, right after the wedding expenses decide to calm down for me. But do me a favor. Go to the comments and description of today's video where I have put this link just for you. Chatsports.com/Broncos jersey. Our second major takeaway from training camp week 1. Pat Bryant has emerged as a wide receiver 2. Don't get it twisted. I'm not saying that week 1 he's going to be wide receiver 2, but the talent has clearly been on display. Zach Stevens, like I said, you're going to hear a lot from him, basically tweeted this out, and this was one of the most popular tweets of the entirety of his training camp coverage, was that quarterbacks seem to gravitate towards Pat Bryant. Doesn't matter who the QB is, whether that be Jarrett Stidham, Bo Nix, or Sam Ehlinger, the ball always seems to go to Pat Bryant. And one thing that I have talked about, at least with Pat Bryant on this channel, is that I wasn't so sure how quickly he was going to acclimate to the NFL game, considering at Illinois they had more of a run-style first offense. It's kind of a middle-tier college football program, at least in the Big Ten. They're starting to get better and better as the years go on, but nobody looks at Illinois as a powerhouse. But one thing that I will admit that I was wrong about was that his talent was completely overlooked at Illinois, big time. I mean, these numbers don't even do it justice. This is in 12 games played, and these are really good numbers for 12 games played, don't get me wrong. But I feel like if you really put him on a team like Ohio State or Michigan or Oregon, USC, you would have seen Pat Bryant as one of the top statistical wide receivers in college football. It just so happened that he played at Champaign-Urbana. So, again, good, not great. But I absolutely believe that with the way that the wide receiver room is currently constructed, there is no doubt in my mind Pat Bryant won't be at least a number he won't be a wide receiver 2 here at some point throughout the season. I feel like the talent is just on full display here. And that's not something that I thought was going to happen right away, but it clearly has been indicated, at least not only from Bo Nix, but Sean Payton and other Broncos fans who were at training camp, that Pat Bryant is always getting open. Now, there's not a lot of tape on him yet, and he doesn't have blazing speed, so he's not going to be one of those players that stretches the field vertically. But what he can do is find soft coverages in zone coverage and just find his way over the middle of the field. These young Broncos wide receivers are happily proving me wrong. They're starting to emerge as real threats on this Broncos offense, which a lot of, times last season, I thought the Broncos should have gone out and signed a veteran wide receiver, or trade for a veteran wide receiver, somebody that has proven success. But right now, I'm really excited to see what these young wide receivers got between Vele, Mims, Pat Bryant, and Troy Franklin, who's also had an amazing camp. I think you might be looking at the next couple of nice batches of Broncos wide receivers. I'm really, really excited to see what these guys can do. Now, which player is going to be the one that emerges? Yet to be seen. We haven't even had pads on yet. That starts tomorrow. But if you were to pick one right now, wide receiver 2, because we know Cortland Sutton's great and he's going to be wide receiver 1. Let me know. If it's Pat Bryant, type PB. If it's Marvin Mims, type MM. If it's Devon Vele, type DV. And if you think it's Troy Franklin, type TF if you want as well. But right now, I think it's between these 3 guys for sure, with my vote going for Pat Bryant. But obviously, that can change. It's always different every single week. All right, our last major takeaway. Big Bad Bo, QB1, he's arrived. And again, this isn't a Bo Nix hype piece, right? We're not going to spend too much time glazing over Bo Nix, but I think what you have seen from the time he started last year as a rookie to where he's at now, it is a completely different player. He claimed he wanted to be the best in the world. Again, do we have to look at that and go, oh my God, nobody's ever said that before? No, of course they have. But the Broncos quarterback is saying this. Right? There's a lot of quarterbacks, especially younger guys, that are like, I just really want to find my footing, and I want to be a great teammate, and I want to be this, and I want to be that. Bo has aspirations to be the best quarterback in the NFL, and he could do it in 2024. First 4 games, rough. Last 13 games, much better. And not just much better, like, okay, he got back to stable. No, we saw the emergence of Bo Nix last year. He's going to pick up right where he left off. We're talking about a complete and utter 180 from Bo Nix. But here's my projections for 2025. I'm going to give them to you again because I've done this a couple times on the channel, but I want to do it one more time in case you're new. 67% completion percentage, over 4,000 yards, 33 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. These are my predictions for 2025. 17 games played. I think this is very achievable for Bo Nix. I also think that this could be top 5 MVP candidate numbers. Don't you? I mean, last year, Lamar Jackson was a little bit higher than this in terms of passing touchdowns and total touchdowns, but, and a little bit lower in interceptions. But like I said, this could be top 5 in MVP voting. I don't know that Bo wins it year 2, but I'd like to think that he's a dark horse candidate for it. And as I said before, we have seen a complete 180 from what he was last year. Granted, he was a rookie, and he didn't know what to expect. So the bar was low, or the bar was Bo. But now, I got a little boo here from producer Alper on the 1s and 2s. It's a complete 180. It's a completely different player. It's a completely different guy with a completely different mindset. So we have to treat this season, at least for Bo Nix, as kind of like a clean slate. Right? Now we know what the baseline for success is for Bo. It's about defying those expectations and taking off as fast as you can, making sure that this team wins the AFC West. I got to go back to it. Wants to be the best in the world. Doesn't that make you just want to run through a brick wall? It does for me. It really does. I'm really happy to see that this is his mentality going into year 2. So if you think I want more Bo Nix content, and you're like, I can't wait to see what QB1 does in 2025, and you want to see me talk a little bit more about Bo Nix, quarterback 1, number 10 for the Denver Broncos, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. It's completely free. It'll get you more Bo Nix content, and you can join like-minded Denver Broncos fans covering your favorite football team every single day, 365 days a year. That is going to do it for us on today's episode. A reminder to subscribe if you have not, like the video if you haven't already, and as always, be cool.